What kind of person was she? I mean, what did you see?
I mean, she's as nice as can be. I mean, very personable, very much a people person.
Before we get into today's video, I just want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere, in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all have had a wonderful week. Hope everybody is feeling good in the holiday spirit. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about a situation that happened a few years ago, but the interrogation footage is so fascinating to me. And this guy that we're going to be talking about today has a lot of similarities to BK. And so I thought we would go over this case. Before we get into it, though, I did want to let you guys know, if you don't already know, hi, my name is Christina. I do have a second channel, which is Casually Christina. We just do things more casually over there. I also have a Patreon. My Patreon's for 18 and up. And over there, we talk about more personal stuff. We go live over there. There's a $2 tier for all the true crime stuff that cannot go onto YouTube due to their terms and policies. That goes over on my Patreon under the $2 tier. Just make sure you read the full about section of what each tier offers before you join. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Like to Know It. And Like to Know It is a platform where you can find links to a lot of things you guys ask about that I use, that I love. Everything from clothing items, makeup, jewelry, skincare, workout gears, stuff that I buy for my husband or gifts or my son, all kinds of stuff that you guys ask about or that I just want to link over there. I do. And all of those platforms are linked down in the description box if you would like to come and check me out. Okay, so let me tell y'all about Lauren. Lauren Giddens was born on April 18th of 1984 to her parents Bill and Kara in Tacoma Park, Maryland. She was the oldest of three sisters, and her two younger sisters' names are Sarah and Caitlin. Friends and family say that Lauren was very vibrant. She was very kind-hearted. Back when she was in high school, she played field hockey and she also played softball. In 2002, Lauren moved to Georgia to attend college, and she initially attended Agnes Scott College until 2006 when she graduated with a major in political science and a minor in religious studies. She played softball at this school as well. Now, after her graduation, she moved back home to work for the National Center of Public Policy in Washington, D.C. She then decided that she wanted to pursue a career in law. So in 2008, she moved back to Georgia to attend Mercer University's School of Law. She was studying to become a public defender. And Lauren also served as the president of the Federalist Society at her school. And if you cannot tell by now, she was very driven, hardworking. She had goals, and when she set a goal, she went after it. In 2011, 27-year-old Lauren had graduated and she was preparing to take the bar exam when suddenly she just quit talking to anybody. Nobody heard from her, none of her friends, her family. It was like she just disappeared. Now, according to Caitlin, Lauren's sister, Lauren had already told her friends and family that she was going to have to take time to devote herself entirely to studying for the bar exam. She asked them not to be offended if she didn't respond to their text. And allegedly, just prior to her telling the family that, one of her sisters had gotten married, so she took some time away from her studies and her goals to go and celebrate her sister's wedding. And so she was basically like, look, I took this time off to spend this time with the family, and now I'm going to just be laser focused. I'm not going to be texting. I'm not going to be on social media. Nobody worry about me. I'm going to be fine. So Lauren had been really quiet, but by June 27th, her friends and family started thinking that she had been too quiet. And you guys can just imagine, right? You have this very driven family member that is like, listen, I'm going quiet. I'm not going to be responding to anybody. I'm not going to be calling. Don't worry. Well, that's only going to go on for so long before you actually start to worry. 2 days later, on June 29th, a friend of Lauren's called Caitlin to ask if anyone had heard from Lauren. Now, this worried Caitlin, her sister, so she started trying to call Lauren herself, but her calls were going unanswered. Caitlin then started calling Lauren's other friends, and all of them said the same thing. None of them had heard from her. None of them had seen her or anything in days. So at this point, Caitlin woke up her dad and he decided to immediately get in his vehicle and drive down to where she was, look for her, and file a missing persons report with the police department, which, hello, talk about a great family. I mean, the sister literally goes and wakes him up out of his sleep and he goes, "Oh, really?" And he just goes and gets in his car and drives to where she is. In the meanwhile, Lauren's local friends decided to go and check out Lauren's apartment. When they got there, they discovered that Lauren's car was still in the parking lot at her apartment building, but she didn't answer her door when they knocked on it. Fortunately, one of Lauren's friends named Ashley knew where Lauren kept a spare key, so she was able to unlock the apartment door so they could go inside. Now, once she got inside, this is when she discovered that Lauren's books, her keys, her laptop, and her purse were all in the apartment, but Lauren was nowhere to be found. Ashley then called 911 and officers arrived shortly after. There were no signs of forced entry into Lauren's apartment, and there didn't appear to be any signs of a struggle either. It wasn't until the investigators sprayed luminol that they realized that something terrible had happened. So they go into the apartment, they spray the luminol, they're checking out the little living room area type of thing that she had. They go into the bathroom and the luminol lit up all over the walls, all over the floor, all over the bathtub. And if you don't know what that is a sign of fluids that have been cleaned up or that were there. And we're talking again all over the walls, all in the bathtub, all over the floors. Quickly, the officers, they taped off the scene and they began searching all around the building. And as they were doing so, they started smelling something very foul coming from the trash cans. One of the investigators would later say, as soon as he smelled it, he knew exactly what that smell was. Inside one of the trash cans was Lauren's torso, wrapped in a plastic sheet. The rest of her was nowhere to be found. Now, at the same time that this was found, a 25-year-old man named Stephen McDaniel was giving an interview to a local news station. Stephen McDaniel was born on September 9th of 1985, and he grew up near Atlanta, Georgia. He had what would be considered a pretty normal upbringing. He was very academically smart. So much so that he too had just graduated from Mercer University's law school, just like Lauren had. And that's not the only thing the two had in common. Stephen was on the same society Lauren was at school, and he also lived in the same apartment complex as Lauren. As a matter of fact, he lived right next door to her. The local news station showed up to the apartment complex when they heard about Lauren's disappearance so they could cover the story. This is when they came across Stephen, her neighbor, who was just standing around, and decided to interview him. In his interview, Stephen seemed like a typical concerned neighbor. It wasn't until he found out live on camera that a body had been found that his demeanor completely changed. Here's that interview.
No one's heard from her since.
Did you see her hang out with anyone at the time, anything like that?
No one has seen her since Saturday. I haven't seen anything. I've always heard noise outside, but it's just people walking by pretty much.
And she just recently graduated from Mercer?
Yeah, she and we were both JD students. We graduated back in May.
What kind of person was she? I mean, what did you see?
She's as nice as can be. Very personable, very much a people person.
Do you know any enemies she might have had, somebody that might want to hurt her?
No, we don't know where she is. The only thing we can think is that maybe she went out running and someone snatched her. Because we went over. One of her friends had a key. We went inside and tried to see if there was anything amiss. We just don't know where she is.
What about in the parking lot area? I know they've been doing a lot of. I think that's where they have recovered the body or whatever they recovered from there.
Body.
Had you seen anything there? Had you seen anything there? I mean, we don't know if this is the same person. You know what I mean? Like, they took out a body there earlier. We don't know if it's the same person or not. So that's why we're trying to ask people if they know who lived there. Are you okay, sir?
I think I need to sit down.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people looked at that interview and they thought, yeah, something suspicious with this guy. And then other people looked at this interview and thought, this is a concerned neighbor that just found out something horrifying about his neighbor and his friend, and he needed a break. Well, after this interview, Stephen and Lauren's other neighbors all went down to the police station to give statements. While they were there, officers asked them if they would voluntarily allow their apartments to be searched. Everyone said yes, except for Stephen. He initially said that he had to decline because the lawyer in him, and that he was just protective of his space. But eventually, he agreed when the officers said that they'd let Stephen walk through the apartment with them. And it took a little bit more than just like them saying they would walk through with him. Stephen did all this kind of stuff. He said he had firearms in there, and the officer's like, wait a minute, everybody else is letting us go through the apartments except for you. And you're saying it's because of what's going to happen. Nevertheless, he finally caved. Now, inside Stephen's apartment, they found a master key for every apartment in the complex. Can you imagine? When the officers asked Stephen why he had a master key, he tells them, y'all, the lawyer in him, that he had broken into 2 apartments and had stolen 1 condom from each one of them. Not to mention, earlier in the interview, he told them that he didn't do the deed with anybody, and then later on he tells them that he breaks into people's apartments to steal. Like, given this self-admission, the officers arrested him on the spot for burglary, and this is when they brought him in for further questioning. After Stephen was taken away, a more thorough search was done at Stephen's apartment. Packaging for a hacksaw, several flash drives, and a pair of underwear that would later test positive for Lauren's DNA were found there. The flash drives that were found contained underage type of illegal material. Yes. In the laundry room of the apartment complex, officers found the hacksaw that actually matched the packaging found in Stephen's apartment, along with a sheet stained with red bodily fluids. The sheet was later tested, and it also tested as a positive match for Lauren's DNA. Now, as the investigators started digging into both Stephen and Lauren's lives before the incident happened, they found some concerning things. Lauren had mentioned to her sister that something seemed strange in her apartment. She said she felt like someone had been inside it and moved things around. Remember that, okay? The investigators found the last email that Lauren had sent from June 25th. This was to her actual boyfriend. His name is David. He was on a golf trip in California, and Lauren had mentioned to him that she thought someone had tried to break into her apartment on the night of June 23rd. However, Lauren kind of downplayed it by saying that it was probably just some hoodlums in the area. Lauren and David had just actually rekindled their relationship after not speaking for a while. David was 20 years older than Lauren. They had met 4 years ago at work, and they really hit it off. Lauren was supposed to be moving in with David, and he was interviewed by the investigators.
Yes, sir.
This is your girlfriend.
I understand.
Okay. Because we can't find her. Okay?
Okay.
And we found a body. We don't know if it's her or not.
I just heard that. This
Okay.
coworker told me on the way down.
All right. So I need your help.
You've got it.
David was eventually cleared of any wrongdoing. The investigators then discovered that Stephen had actually been stalking Lauren. According to the district attorney, he said that they found a deleted video Stephen used to survey Lauren's home. The DA said that Stephen took a wooden pole and had duct tape or somehow fixed a camera to the end of it so he could hold the pole up really high and peek inside Lauren's window. The investigators also found that Stephen had been online searching up Lauren's social media and her LinkedIn profiles. They said that sometimes Stephen would be searching for pictures of Lauren around the same time he was looking up porno. They said that he also posted about his hatred of women and how he wanted to injure them. They also discovered that Stephen had somewhat of an interest in being a survivalist, and he stockpiled food and energy drinks. He even told the investigators that he liked to wear the same pair of underwear for more than one day at a time. The investigators also found out that Stephen didn't have much luck when it came to women, like an incel. He was using eHarmony, but he hadn't gotten a single date, you guys. I mean, he also claimed to be a virgin, okay? So remember earlier when we were just talking about him, said he was breaking and stealing condoms, but yet he had told the investigators that he hadn't been with anybody. Now back to his interrogation, since we're talking about it. In his interrogation, the investigators pressed Stephen hard to try to get him to confess, but Stephen would not give in. Now check out the way that he's responding to the investigators.
Okay. Was you friends with Lauren?
Yes.
Look at me when you talk to me, son. Okay? Was you friends with her?
Yes.
Close friends?
We were good.
I mean, y'all were friends, right? Both of
Yes.
y'all are law students. You're studying to be an attorney, right?
Yes.
What kind of law do you want to go into? Criminal law?
Yes.
Civil? Is that what you want to do for a living?
Yes.
Okay. And you've lived next to Lauren for a long time?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know where she's at tonight?
No. No.
Have you ever seen her with that dress on?
No.
Do you even care that no one can find her?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know, do you?
Yes.
I mean, who would do something to somebody and throw them in a trash can?
I don't know.
I'm asking for your advice or your observation. Who in your complex would do something like that? You lived over there for 3 years. Tonight's the first night I think I've ever been over there. Who in that complex do I need to talk to?
I don't know.
I need to know. Why all of a sudden you're acting like this?
I don't understand.
Because you're all over the news. You sure stood out there and ran your mouth to the news media. But now you're going to get out here and you don't know. You know.
Also in his interrogation, the investigators asked Stephen why he had seemingly fresh scratches on his stomach.
Show me that scratch again that you showed me earlier. That was it a... What did you say happened there?
I think I scratched myself in my sleep.
Huh.
Now, even though Stephen wouldn't admit to it, the investigators had enough evidence at this point to officially arrest and charge him. On August 2nd of 2011, Stephen was charged with... He was later charged with 7 counts of young exploitation type of material, you know, illegal, terrible, the worst type of stuff. Stephen initially pled not guilty to all of this though, but then in 2014, just 1 week before his trial was supposed to start, man, it's just like deja vu when we're thinking too about the BK situation. The prosecution agreed to drop the young material charges in exchange for a guilty plea and a confession, and Stephen took the deal and he finally admitted to ending Lauren's life and dismembering her. But Stephen actually had to give a confession. Stephen said in the early morning hours of June 26th, he used his master key to get into Lauren's apartment. He said that he watched her sleep for a while, but a creak in the bed woke her up. He said when Lauren saw him, she yelled, "Get the F out." Stephen said that he then jumped on top of Lauren. He grabbed her by the throat, and he said that Lauren fought hard, but he cut off her airway until she was no longer breathing. He said he then drug her body to the bathroom, and then he went home. He said the next night he went back to Lauren's apartment with a hacksaw, and that's when he did what he did. He said that he placed different parts of her in different trash cans all throughout the area, specifically in a trash can at the university. It has been said that if the police hadn't been called when they were, the garbage truck was right behind them and would have actually emptied that trash can where Lauren's torso had been found. And the investigators said had they not found Lauren's torso, the case may have gone cold. The rest of Lauren's remains were never ever found. The local news reporters reported that at the time, Stephen didn't seem like the type of person that could commit such a terrible crime. They reported that it seemed like he wasn't even going to be staying in town much longer because the lease on his apartment was about to be up in 2 weeks. and he was reportedly planning on moving back in with his parents. So he had done all of this, and had the police not been blocking the trash cans or that area so the trash truck could not come through and take the cans away, he would have maybe have gotten away with it, and then he was going to move. He would have gotten, how scary is that, you guys? And the way that he did this, and I know he left stuff out of his confession. I don't believe that's the first time he was in the apartment with her. So she's in there sleeping, and she would go out partying with her friends and stuff. So if she was out drinking and sleeping hard and he was in there watching her, you guys, living right next door to her, going to be a lawyer. He had his tag already to work in the legal offices where he was going. And then he was doing this on the side, just like somebody else we've talked about. Stephen was eventually sentenced to life in prison. However, since then, Stephen has tried to appeal his conviction multiple times. He's claimed that he had ineffective counsel and even represented himself in court. And so far, all of his appeals have been denied, thankfully. So he's currently sitting in prison in Georgia. However, he will be eligible for parole in 2041. Lauren's family and friends continue to honor her memory. They celebrate every milestone that she would have been a part of, and they organize annual runs in her memory. 2 memorial plaques dedicated to Lauren are at Mercer Law School. How unbelievable is that? And again, not to take anything away from Lauren's story, because that's what we're talking about here, but when I was researching this, the similarities in so many ways between Stephen and Bryan Kohberger was just disturbing to me while I was researching it. I mean, Bryan Kohberger was going to school to be criminology major, but he was still somebody that thought that he was smarter, and so did this guy, Stephen. That's why he was giving literal interviews to the news reporters and hanging around the investigation. The investigators noticed that he was hanging around the whole time. And it's just so bizarre that these people are in this field. And Bryan Kohberger was an incel. Stephen seemed to be an incel, and just so disturbing and heartbreaking. Again, she was doing nothing wrong. She was doing everything right. Lauren was in her bed asleep, and this sick, twisted weirdo disguised as just a nice, smart little, law student, went in and did this and stole her from her family. Let me know what y'all think down below. Other than that, I love y'all. I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.